Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just want, before I say some short words on this sovereign wealth fund, Mr. Speaker, I just want to read into the record something about the Hiwandora International Airport, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's very, very important that when we come to this honorable house, and the member for Castries South said it, and the member for Ansari Kandris reiterated it, Mr. Speaker, that we do not deliberately lie, Mr. Speaker, or say what is not true. And the surrogates out there who repeat it, Mr. Speaker, and who attack people when they know that it's a lie, Mr. Speaker. I want to read to you the loan agreement between the St. Lucia Air and Seaports Authority, SLASPA. The loan agreement number is 60222-46001 with the Export-Import Bank of the Republic of China, Taiwan, hereafter the lender, in the maximum aggregate principal amount of 100 million United States dollars for the exclusive purpose of constructing the Hiwandora International Reconstruction Project, hereafter the project, and guaranteed by the government of St. Lucia, hereafter the government, by virtue of a resolution of St. Lucia's Parliament passed as statutory instrument number 129 of 2018, dated 31st December 2018. For the purposes of the loan agreement, the contractor is defined under Article 1016 of the loan agreement as the Overseas Engineering Construction Company Ltda SA, hereafter OECC, which is an incorporated body under the laws of Taiwan, selected by SLASPA to undertake the construction and completion of the project. Selected by SLASPA to undertake the construction and completion of the project. This corresponds with Appendix C of the loan agreement, entitled Initial Certificate on Construction Contract, where SLASPA is expected to assert that it has selected and appointed OECC as contractor and is satisfied through its own independent investigation that the contractor is capable financially and technically to carry out and complete the works in accordance with time schedule, workmanship, and other material terms and conditions of the construction contract. Mr. Speaker, you see any word of developer in that? Mr. Speaker, there should be some sanctions for someone to come to this honorable house and deliberately distort the truth, like Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, and even though it is raised, he gets up and he says, on a point of order. Mr. Speaker, there ought to be some sanctions. That can't be correct. You cannot allow the people of this country to look at a former prime minister and for him to get up on his feet several times on the record and just distort the facts. And there are people out there in civil society and in the press who refuse to call him out on these issues. Mr. Speaker, it is annoying. It is hurtful, Mr. Speaker, because we are not in this business forever. The young people of this country have to look forward to something from us, Mr. Speaker. And what they do is to look for excuses. They paint a white brush, some of them, politicians, to paint a white brush instead of calling out the individual politician when he does what's wrong, to hide behind their own idiosyncrasies and their own favorites. And the old people they support, they say, politicians. Mr. Speaker, I thought it important for me to say that, Mr. Speaker, because it is hurtful, Mr. Speaker, when a document that can be shown is a loan agreement that can be made a document of the House. You stand up and you say, more than I have heard the man from Miku South, more than 6 times get up and say that there was no tender, there was a tender for human airport development, and OECC was the developer. When it is clear in the loan agreement that OECC was the contractor. Mr. Speaker, I saw it was very important that I put that on the record. I had to put it on the record because there are some people out there who believe that. And what they'll do tonight, they'll attack me. They'll attack me for speaking the truth. Mr. Speaker, sometimes the man from Microsoft, he just distorts the facts for no reason. That matter is dead. Everybody knows that OECC got the contract. There's a letter on the record that where there's an instruction to give OECC the contract. That matter is dead. Why continuously revive it, even though you know that in the loan agreement, OECC was the contractor? Why do it? And those out there who purport to be purveyors of the truth and who want to take politicians to task and to call truth to power, what they must do, Mr. Speaker, is point out individually. The Prime Minister lied when he said so. The leader of the opposition lied when he said so. Don't have a paintbrush and say, oh, I don't trust politicians. Politicians point to me, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I thought it was important that I say so, Mr. Speaker. I thought it was important. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank members in their own way, in the way they supported the Sovereign Wealth Fund, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I just want to reiterate just 3 things, Mr. Speaker. First of all, the Sovereign Wealth Fund is to be used for climate adaptation policy. And there is an entire document on climate adaptation policy. The member for Delminov has that was tendered in cabinet and is the public domain. Again, as the member from Ansari so brilliantly said, is a document that came after discussion with everybody else, local and foreign. So there is a climate adaptation policy. Go on. Mr. Speaker, the board gives directions. Mr. Speaker, withdraws from the fund as stipulated. It's not like the National Economic Fund. The withdrawals from the fund are for climate adaptation policies. That is clear, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the minister, Mr. Speaker, to listen to the member from Microsoft, you would believe that the minister is a name. Like the minister is Philip J. Pierre, or the minister is Stevenson King, or the minister is him, or is Bradley Felix. Mr. Minister is the minister. And anyone who Mr. Speaker, the Constitution is clear. The Minister of Finance must be a representative of the people of St. Lucia. And he can only be, the Minister of Finance can only be elected. So it is clear, Mr. Speaker, the Minister of Finance can only be elected. So when he the minister, as if the minister is me. Mr. Speaker, it shows a carelessness, it shows a disregard, it shows a deep-seated resentment for the people of St. Lucia and the people who were chosen by the people of St. Lucia to represent the people of St. Lucia. That's what it shows. A deep resentment, Mr. Speaker. A resentment, even based on almost a hatred. The minister, as if we are not capable and we should not be doing that. That's what it is. Because the minister is not a name. The minister is a function. It's a minister is a person that's put there by the people. And the people are never wrong. And when the people decide, you have to accept what the people decide. Very simple. So, Mr. Speaker, when as if the minister is sort of a bad word. The minister means the minister. But one day, he was the minister too. And who knows? Mr. Speaker, the custodian. Again, Mr. Speaker, deliberately misleading the House, Mr. Speaker. The custodian, I'm going to end very shortly. The AG has to leave, Mr. Speaker. Can I reach you right now? The AG has a very serious family engagement to get involved in. Very important family engagement, Mr. Speaker. But he told me to not disclose, and I will not disclose. I know. Mr. Speaker, he speaks about the custodian. Mr. Speaker, refuses to read lower down the bill. Refuses. And that's why I tell the people of St. Lucia, you must read, listen to what anybody tells you, including what I tell you. Fact check it. He does not read the rest. Here's what he said, Mr. Speaker. The functions of the custodian appointed under subsection 1. First of all, the appointment. The board shall, on the advice of the Minister of Cabinet, or the Minister, on the advice of the Minister and Cabinet. Never said so. Listen to the functions of the custodian. Mr. Speaker, I just want to dive a little bit. Members of the board, Mr. Speaker, it's possible that we could have put in legislation somebody like the Director of Finance as a member of the board. It's possible. That's a suggestion, Mr. Speaker. But the minister has the flexibility to appoint whoever he wants, and he can appoint the finance official. That's something that's possible, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the functions of the custodian to protect the fund assets and take all necessary administrative measures in relation to the custody of the assets of the fund. Maintain internal control systems and records that clearly identify the nature and value of the assets of the fund and cash, the ownership of each asset and cash, and the place where documents of title pertaining to each asset are kept. Important. Carry out the instructions of the investment manager. Mr. Speaker, very important. Carries out the instructions of the investment manager, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the custodian, Mr. Speaker, they do not make investment decisions. They do not. Investment, they have it in custody. They do not make investment decisions. Investment decisions are made by the minister, Mr. Speaker. And investment decisions, Mr. Speaker, are made by the investment manager. Sorry. And Mr. Speaker, and it's clear also that it says that both the fund and the board must be audited. And we've added another functioning checks and balance, a forensic report. Mr. Speaker, so where are we going? Where are we going? Mr. Speaker, further. You would have believed, Mr. Speaker, when I remember the Minister for the CIP can speak about himself, but so I'll leave that alone, Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, I have said before that there was a man called Goebbels in Mr. Speaker, it's always important to know our history. And you think, and history should be a lesson, Mr. Speaker, that's compulsory. And why am I, Mr. Speaker? I want to pay tribute to Sir Roy Auger, the historians who wrote the book, The Making of the West Indies. That's a book, Mr. Speaker, and I think all students in schools should read that book. All of us in here, we read that book in school, The Making of the West Indies, Mr. Speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, history is a very important subject. Very, very important. History. Because some of us want us to forget history or see history only in their own eyes. So the member from Microsoft wants us to forget the history of the last 5 years when he was in government. Forget it, that don't exist. I'm brand new and I'm clean. I just came. I was never in government. Just freshly baptized. Thank you, Minister. So, Mr. Speaker, I just want to tell you, Mr. Speaker, that there are adequate checks and balances, Mr. Speaker, for that legislation. And further, the regulations have not been made. And in the regulations, we will stipulate what where we're going to be, Mr. Speaker, and I think in my policy statement, I'm going to announce what is the first investment that we will make in the sovereign wealth fund in the policy debate in April, Mr. Speaker. And that's going to be historic for the people of St. Lucia. Historic. Historic. A statement of confidence, a statement of belief, a statement of conviction, a statement of understanding that our people are as good as people anywhere in the world. Stop demeaning our people. Stop demeaning them. Stop respect them. Stop treating them as if they are second-class citizens. That they have wrong choices. That they can't make their choices. Stop attacking our doctors. Stop attacking our nurses. Stop attacking our policemen. Stop attacking us as if we are people who have no history. We are the children of George Charles and John Compton. Stop it. Stop doing that. For your own political reason, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it hurts me when I see a people who try, who aspire, a few of us, a few people, Mr. Speaker. And what we do, we denigrate crime, crime, crime. As if this country is riddled. Of course, we have a problem. But let's get together and solve it. Let's work on it, Mr. Speaker. Let's stop making the world believe. Mr. Speaker, there was a group of people, and I know, who were posting on social media any attack against tourists. They were making it go viral. They were boosting it, Mr. Speaker, just to destroy the economy, just to destroy St. Lucia because you're not in government. Stop it. Stop it. Mr. Speaker, it's hurtful. It is hurtful because I see the hundreds of conscientious people, teachers who leave home every day and go and teach our students. Policemen who put their life at risk and go and protect our people. Nurses and doctors who work under less than perfect conditions to help our people. I see hardworking civil servants going to work every day. I see vendors hustling to sell something. I see farmers planting crops to sell. I see the essence of solution in these people. I see young people going to the youth economy, trying to get money to protect their business. I see them. I see hope. I see belief. I see conviction, Mr. Speaker. I don't see denigration. I don't see attacking. I don't see calling people names. That's not what I see, Mr. Speaker. And I see the purpose when they go to the youth economy. And to encourage somebody to destroy the youth economy is an act act against the state. To encourage it for political purposes. To mislead young people. When you say to them, Mr. Speaker, talking about savings, Mr. Speaker, when a young person walks into the youth economy, they hear nothing about politics. Nothing. And to take that thing and to convert it into a political thing for your own personal reasons is almost treasonous. Because you are misleading people, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, you have not heard me. I have not spoken at all about certain things. And I will not speak about it. Because I have a responsibility. I have not spoken about it. I have not spoken about the government negotiating team. I have not spoken anything about it. And I will not. No interference. I will not interfere. No matter how they try and push me, try and attack me. Mr. Speaker, when you encourage people, wouldn't say it, Mr. Speaker, I have a greater responsibility, Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, this situation in this country, where every day is a different lie, try to disrupt correspondent banking, just because for your... Mr. Speaker, you know what correspondent banking means? You want to disrupt it. Mr. Speaker, remember for sure there's a banker. There are countries in the region where the country had to put US dollars in a plane and bring it to Miami. Because they lost correspondent banking status. They had to put it in a plane and take it to Miami. You want to tell me you want to bring that on this country because you're not in government? Thank you. That can't be right, Mr. Speaker. Like, I was in opposition. I've been in this parliament from 1997. I was in opposition from 2006 to 2011. And I was in opposition again from 2016 to 2021. I was in opposition. Opposition is not a place you like to be, particularly if you think God damn leaves in Lucia for you. It's not a place you like to be. Nobody likes to be in opposition. And you try to get into government. But you don't try to get into government by whatever means necessary. You try to get in government by organization. You get into government by discussion. You get into government by stating the facts. You get into government by working. That's how you get into government. So, Mr. Speaker, I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank the Attorney General, who was instrumental, Mr. Speaker. Both firstly, for his delivery of the criminal amendment to the criminal code, Mr. Speaker. He did it with the elegance of a trial lawyer. And I'm sure the students that were there had a lesson in delivery, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the member for Parliament for answering queries. You see, Mr. Speaker, the member of Parliament for answering queries has been vilified. He has been taken as a lost cause. I heard somebody say the other day, I saw them in my constituency. I saw them in my constituency. That's the parliamentary rep. He's the parliamentary rep. It's his constituency. But that's how they are. So, Mr. Speaker, so I want to thank the member of Parliament for answering queries. I want to thank the officials of the Ministry of Finance. I want to thank them, Mr. Speaker. I want to, because last night, after we discussed the bill of them, last night we were in the cabinet till 10:30. Further refining, because, Mr. Speaker, that's how we operate. We operate like men and women of purpose. We don't sit in the parliament and plan how to attack people. We don't sit in the parliament and plan how to make people cry. We don't sit in the parliament and attack people's children. We don't sit in the parliament and say who to give this and who to give that, or to promote here, or to not promote here. That's what we do in the cabinet. We sit in the cabinet and discuss the issues as they relate to the people of this country. And this bill, Mr. Speaker, this bill comes out of an abundance of discussion and the hard work with the Speaker. So I want to thank everyone. I want to say that is a new beginning for St. Lucia. And I'm very proud that the men and women in this house, when our grandchildren grow, Mr. Speaker, and their children's children, they will see that on this day, the 11th of March, men and women of the St. Lucia Labour Party stood up and decided that we would try to put an end to intergenerational poverty. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.